Showtime.
All right.
Hi, everybody. It's showtime for Psychic Profiles, and we're going to meet Medium Sheilah.
Hello.
So, guess what she does?
Yes. That's true.
So, how are you doing? You said you're going to be taking a break for the holidays, and then you'll be back. And
Yes. Well, I really haven't been as active lately on YouTube, but that is going to change, and I do need to get back to the calling that pretty much came to me without me looking for it. So I do need to get back, and it hasn't gone away. So I need to do something good with it.
And what a perfect chance. But
Yes.
come on, Psychic Profiles.
Absolutely. And I followed you for years when I was Inquisitive Tarot. And so I'm very honored to be able to do this show with you. So,
well,
I've been a fan, a quiet fan, but yes.
Well, that's okay. I don't need any more loud ones.
No. Hi, Katie and Proud.
Yes, Katie and Proud's in. Anyway, what y'all know what the deal is. I just want to talk to you for a second. So you're going to take some time off, then you're going to come back in January sometime and be ready to roar, right?
I think so. Possibly before December's over. I just need to get in and set up my lives every, maybe a couple of weeks or something and just get going again. I was doing some recorded readings. I've mostly been focusing on politics right now. So, hi Strawberry. So I've been doing that, but I do need to get back into the personal readings. And, it has been kind of a crazy year for me. So I haven't felt like I could do the personal readings, and I don't want to delve too much into that. But
I have a question about, do you find your powers come and go? And the most striking one for me about when I knew I couldn't do anything is when I was pregnant.
Oh,
I had to sort of stop,
And but your body is needing you to focus on that.
That's right. Hi, Dr. Gail. I was talking about you this morning. Were your ears tingling? I met another reader. Sheilah, people don't know what goes on to get on this show. I have a little pre-interview just so that I'm not stunned by the glory of the people who show up on my show. Or I'm not trying to say, no, I don't think I want to be with that person. But there, I have usually I book about 20 minutes of time, and we sit and we talk and we kind of find out where you are and what's going on, and then make sure you understand what I'm asking you to do.
Right.
And so I did an interesting lady today, which everyone will meet on the 6th of January. Fascinating. She's an energy worker, and she and I have had a lot of similar life experiences. Like, we got to talk about how you can have a heart attack and the doctors can't find any sign you ever had one.
Yeah.
Autocorrect changes your name.
Right. I know, because I spell it with an H.
That's fine.
On the end.
Anyway, so that's a little of the mechanics behind Psychic Profiles. And by the way, the lady I interviewed today is fascinating. She was someone that people had suggested to me that I go ahead and meet. So if you are out there in the chat and you just know someone I absolutely positively have to talk to, I'll try to track them down. So if you're interested in putting someone's name in the hopper, please do. And trust me, I'm not running out of readers yet.
No.
So we're going to go ahead and start understanding more about Medium Sheilah.
Okay.
So when did you first realize you might have psychic abilities?
Well, I had them very early on, but as I was raised Catholic, we really didn't believe in that kind of we were told that there weren't ghosts and all that kind of stuff. Although I always thought that was kind of strange, because if we're believing in a higher power, what I would always ponder what happens after you die? Where do you go? Like, what, something has to be out there. That's what they're, pretty much getting in our head. And I would have experiences. I always felt like I wasn't alone.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, I think when I was 5 and we were switching houses, and I remember being in the back garden of this older house. It was like 1800s or something house. And it had this garden. And I remember I thought I saw a woman in white come out of the greenhouse and then just disappear. And I was like, I don't know what that was.
Mm-hmm.
So
Maybe
I think
she was moving too.
yeah, it was pretty freaky, and I still kind of remember it. And
Mm-hmm.
I said something to my older sister, and I said, I thought I saw something. And she said, this house is haunted. I said, no, it's not. But, so I don't know. I don't think I'm the only one either in the family. I do believe my older sister
Mm-hmm.
has it. And she says things to me occasionally, like she kind of knows things. And so I believe it. So but I mean, it didn't really hit me until, I don't know, it's just sort of in my 20s. I
Mm-hmm.
started having weird experiences, and I lived in an apartment that was a big high rise. And I think I had 3 ghosts in it. It was a lot of people who know me in the chat may have heard this story before, but, uh, it was an efficiency, apartment or condo. It was, and, I see something going back and forth in front of the
Mm-hmm.
TV, and the disembodied face in the kitchen. And there was just multiple things going on. And I kind of knew, I'm like, something is wrong here, and something's happening to me, and I'm seeing these things, and I didn't know what's going on. And it was kind of like that was when things for the first time really got out of hand.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm driving down the road, and there's like pennies and dimes falling in my lap, like
Mm-hmm.
into my, it was just craziness. And I couldn't understand what was happening, and my Catholic mind went, something's trying to possess me, and I got freaked out. My mom had me go to a psychiatrist, and I had documented everything at the time. It was hilarious. I wish I still had it. I threw it away years ago because I was like, this is over. But the doctor said that she said, you're not crazy. You're fine. You know what's going on. I said, well, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then after that, I think I started doing research. I started
Mm-hmm.
trying to figure out what was going on. I read a lot of books. I was directed to the Jane Roberts books to read, the Seth
Mm-hmm.
book, Seth
Yes.
Speaks, various things. And I was just trying to figure out what was happening. And I learned about sage, and, I always have sage on hand and things like that. But I was operating under fear for a lot of the first part of this. And because I didn't understand it, and I was told there wasn't supposed to be anything, but there they are. And,
Mm-hmm.
I just always had experiences, and I couldn't, and I just didn't know if everybody else experienced stuff, or was it just me, but I do think a lot of people experience it, but
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people just want to close it off and keep it. And that did work for me for a while, where I just refused to deal with it. And then, and this isn't even this story. This is a crazy story, but I'm cutting it. I'm learning to condense. But
Yes.
even in this house where I live now, and when I moved in, I did the research to make sure that nobody died in it. Nobody has, but I've had spirit in here.
Mm-hmm.
I've had my ponytail pulled in the kitchen. I've had silverware moving. When my father died, he was in here. A couple times I had to tell him to please go. You can visit, but you can't stay.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't. But I don't know. So I'm no longer afraid of it, and I'm able to handle it. And now I'm trying to, you know, in a I guess as a medium, because I am clairaudient. I've
Mm-hmm.
learned that there's that going on. Of course, I think I'm, clairvoyant more than likely. I get the the smells. I don't know if it's
Claire
clairsentient.
Gustavus. It's
Yeah,
Claire Gustavus, whatever. I can't
yeah,
say it, but
yeah, and just various things. And I know when things are going to happen before they happen, and it's just always is like that. Like always, no matter what car I have, either it's hilarious. I'm like, I just did it a couple weeks ago. I'm like walking down the stairs to the car. I hadn't driven it in a couple days. I'm thinking tires. Get in the car. There's the light. I used to know when my headlights were going to go out. I used to know all these other things, and I predicted a train crash in 1993 where I lived. My apartment building was right by a train track. For like a month before it happened, every time that train would come by, and I remember going back, I was coming home from work, and I was going into my apartment, and the train went by, and my spine just went, and I was like, something. So I came home from visiting my mother, and I got back, and there were fire trucks everywhere and all this stuff, and I got up into my apartment, went out onto my balcony, and I could see the train crash from my room. And it was like, okay. It's like I kind of realized something was going on. But oh yes, I'm no longer Inquisitive Tarot though, Silka 9187. I'm Medium Sheilah now. Just in case.
Well, someone just subscribed to your old channel, so
it's been deleted, so I don't think you can't subscribe to it. I deleted it because I was working for the government.
And they were inquisitive about where she was, what she was doing.
Well, I was still employed when the last election, and I'm not a Trump fan. So I had to kind of delete it because I was going to go out on my terms, which I did. So I did want to remove it. And it's kind of nice to start over. I did feel like it kind of got stale a little bit. And I think that I can do what I really need to be doing on the new channel, which is as Medium Sheilah. So
good.
Yeah.
You talked about your experiences as a child. And how did people react to you when you tried to share your experiences, other than your sister saying, yeah, the house is haunted? But
well, it's funny because my family, for the most part, like my mom still doesn't really believe it, even though she says she experienced something one night when I was staying with her, trying to move out of that apartment, the haunted, but she doesn't really want to believe it. And I don't know that my family really does. So they really don't know I have the YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Unless they catch me on it, which could happen because my younger sister watches YouTube, so I could pop up. So I really haven't. Although, what's funny too, I do have my tarot cards and everything. I've got over 300 cards, and my mom had to stay with me for a couple of weeks in between. She moved somewhere, and then it didn't work out, the senior place they moved into. So in the meantime, they stayed here. So she saw everything, but I left the ring light up, but I still managed to not tell her. So I don't know. But she knows about that. And she even asked me to read for her. And whenever she does that, I'm always freaked out because I'm like, do you want me to read for you? So,
brave person reading for your family.
Yeah. But I mean, the thing she said to me was, well, don't tell me anything bad. And I said, well, first of all, I don't read like that. And part of the reason I read at all is because when I was going through that situation with all the ghosts, I did go to a reader who did everything that she could to scare me half to death. She told me I was cursed. Not true. And I already had the Catholic fear with it, and I realized that I was being taken for a ride, and I went back and I retrieved the things that she had taken from my apartment and whatever. And I couldn't get my money back, but it was just kind of, I didn't have anything back then. I was definitely poor, but it was just a horrible experience. So I bought my first tarot cards and I tried to figure them out, but I was a little bit afraid of them and I threw the deck away. I did buy it again in 2021. So I have that same one. But then I bought this deck, which is like your regular standard
Rider-Waite.
Yeah, the standard Rider-Waite. The other one was not. And I started teaching myself again in 2010. And I thought, well, I need to understand this because I don't believe anything that they told me. And I don't, so I taught myself and I would read for myself. I was reading about my own
Mm-hmm.
situations, and there was somebody I liked, and I would just read, or things would happen in my life and I just wanted to just see. And I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't really good at it for a while. And I had this Tarot for Dummies, and it had this
Oh,
cut
that's a good book, though.
yeah, but it had this like cutout card thing, and and it's just that was weird for me. So I would just start reading them, like,
Mm-hmm.
and I bought this book. I
That's
bought.
a good book.
I love this. This is my
Mm-hmm.
tarot go to. I taught myself to read with that book. I just wanted to understand what the cards meant, and
Mm-hmm.
and they're not scary. And one of the things I always told my viewers on my channel was that if anyone ever tells you that you have a curse, I want you to get up and walk out and don't ever go back to them again. Yes, Medium Sheilah is my new channel.
The
So,
reason she thought you have inquisitive tarot is you still have that on your placard.
yeah, well, that's just so people remember like who I am.
Oh, I was okay.
But I am. Well, if I need to, I guess I could change that just
No,
to.
you leave it alone. If we were talking about the
Okay.
intricacies of StreamYard and how it now has that you can see what cell phones see.
Oh, I
Well,
know how to do all that. That's not a problem on here. But yeah, it's the other stuff that they started doing. I have to figure out later. But I mean, with the cards though, but it just kind of got me back into it. And then the pandemic happened.
mm-hmm.
I was at home and I was watching the other readers, and I started to be in the audience with multiple different names. I kept changing my name because I was afraid back then because I was, working for the government. I never told anyone that on my old channel because I wasn't allowed. Because I was reading on like current events and politics, and you don't want to do that. And I was very good about it. And um, so, but I would read my cards. And then in 2021, after he lost the election, okay, I decided I'm going to go ahead and do a channel. So I
Mm-hmm.
came in January 2021 with my first channel, and I started reading my cards and doing different things. And I did deck tarot card walkthroughs, and I was collaborating with anyone I could get with, and wonderful people. There's so many great readers and people that do different things in the community. And so I haven't met anyone that isn't for real. So, but I don't know. I mean, it's just so. I mean, reading for other people, I found it to be helpful, and then I started wanting to do more of the medium. Tried the medium stuff
Mm-hmm.
because I'd read for people in my life, like a friend of mine, his daughter passed away, and I know I've spoken to my grandparents. There I had someone I called Whispers that was in here who was trying to talk to me all the time. Um, so I don't really have the guides like a lot of other readers do. I think we all do it differently. And it's
Mm-hmm.
also, I think, open to. And I don't know that I'm open to somebody like telling me what to do kind of thing or what to say. It just doesn't for me. It's not
Mm-hmm.
what I handle. So I think I get messages in a different way. So when I was going back and forth with Whisperers or whoever it was, and there was a male in here at one point too, who was, or at least their voice was. And I was able to communicate about some things I was thinking about. So I feel like they were trying to show me that I could do it. So they may have been a guide.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't like they weren't pushy. So it made me trust it a little more.
Mm-hmm.
But I did do medium readings, and I don't know, you might have other questions. Maybe I should hold that for
Well, you're a very good medium because you just roared through my next 5 questions.
I did. Well,
That
we
was,
did.
it said, did you seek training? Did you explore it on your own? What were specific tools that became part of your practice early on? That was the next one.
Mhm.
Who
Okay.
were your mentors and teachers? And How did you learn to tell the difference between psychic impressions and your imagination?
Ooh, that's an interesting. See, that actually goes with what I was starting to talk about too.
That's I know. See, I don't have to read her the questions, guys. She's really good.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm trying to keep my energy calm too, because I was always thinking, I don't know, where this show is going to go. So I just want to try to keep open in that sense to see. But when I would do the readings, and I'm just talking to people in chat, you can't see them or whatever. And one thing that was important was feedback. And somebody would say, well, and usually I need a name, a first name. I don't want anybody, never any identifying things like people's last names. I don't do third party readings because that's not,
That's not ethical.
Yeah. We need to, if you're asking the question about you or something, then that's okay. And I can connect to that. But it started getting really interesting because I'd never really, there were some days where I was getting more information than others, and I'm honest about that. And I'll say, I'm just not getting information. I'm not going to keep just bringing up stuff. And, if I'm not doing it, I'm not doing it, or they're not coming in. But I would get impressions such as maybe somebody used to wear a hat, a vehicle that they might have had. It might have been something that they did in their life, like somebody driving really fast, or there's something, that they did, or maybe a personality thing, like maybe they're a strong personality, or they were cooking a lot. And I see a 70s kitchen. I remember the one where I was seeing a 1970s type house. We have a lot of those in America. They're still standing, but just things. And it would always interest me how that would come across. And I wasn't really good with names. I'm still not sure, although it could be different now because I haven't been doing it. And it was like I was telling you backstage, even with reading my cards, when I stepped away and I came back, I was reading a little bit differently. I think probably better than I was before. So I think there's something to stepping back sometimes. And so I'll have to see when I go back in to do medium readings. But the more I did it, I did get a little bit more confident. And I read with other readers. I know somebody in here mentioned Kevin Lewis, and he was on my channel once. We read together. And it was interesting because I also learned techniques also from other readers or mediums. It's just kind of things that I don't think to do, because sometimes I get an idea and then I lose it because I'm thinking about something else. And one thing he did, which I thought was good, was to have it. I don't have it with me right now, but a little notebook. And so put your impressions down. So that was just something I thought, well, I need to do something like that. Would help me to stay on target a little bit better. So that kind of thing. I'm not going to read the same way other readers do. I don't think any of us.
You can't.
Yeah. But it's just interesting. It's a journey. And you grow. And so, and I always like to talk about how we were all kind of on the journey together, and whoever's in my chat, and we're a community, and we grow and learn how to do all this. But I do want to get back to it, and I know I haven't been, so I feel badly.
You'll be welcome back.
Yes, thank you. New channel and everything.
Okay. Were there moments when you really doubted yourself?
Oh, yeah.
And then how did you push through that?
I've had some imposter syndrome, but then I remember, because things are always happening still. It's only gotten stronger as I've gotten older, and my clairaudience, which is extremely annoying. I actually can connect to the living and the dead. So it took me a while to figure out what was going on, because I did think I was losing it. But there was this book that I have. I found my answer. I always laugh at this, and it's marked, but it says, many clairaudience can hear voices of the living who are not present, as well as spirit voices. And that's what I have. So this book when I found that, I realized, okay, I'm not crazy. And I mean, I just had so many experiences. And there was the time when I was in this house, I was experiencing things, something, and it was really awakening. I mean, I had some weird stuff where I had photographs that were literally moving and talking. And I thought, what the heck is this? Have I lost my mind? And then I was reading books on mediums, and I found one where somebody had the same issue. And I thought, and it hasn't happened since maybe 2008 or 9 or whatever that was. Which is fun because that was weird and I don't really want to see that again. But it was very strange.
I like my pictures to be pictures. Thank you.
Yeah, my grandmother's picture was doing it at my mom's house. And I'm like, she is going and it's moving like she's, talking so fast. And I was like, you have to slow down, grandmommy, if that's you. You're talking too fast. It's like, because it was coming. But I mean, she was trying to get me to be okay from everything I could see. Is that you're okay? This is fine. But I just didn't trust it. I was like, that should not be happening. It's just not okay. So it hasn't. I made it stop too because I was just, and that was another thing. I found I have a little bit more control over stuff than I thought I did, and I didn't like that. And I was just kind of like, this just is not going to work. This has to stop. No,
that's a lesson I learned early on when I got attacked by the ghost in the hotel in London. And when I came back to Illinois, came back home, I found a parapsychological institute in Chicago. And I went in and I lied to him about my age, told him I was 18. But I said, look, this happened to me. And I don't want that to happen again. And one of the first things they told me was, you don't have to accept any gift you have. You have to accept the gift, but you're not powerless. And they will try to convince you are, but you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. So I don't do dead people. I mean, they show up and they break through periodically, but I don't do dead people.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a lot more comfortable with it than I used to be because that's been one thing that's been happening my whole life. And so it's kind of like, it's here and I just need to accept it and not fight it. And by not fighting it, everything's calmed down. And my work that I've done on YouTube, that helped calm the energy. But I still have, I mean, I think when I did that, I had a lot more orbs going on in 2021 because I remember doing readings in here and just over you can't see with the camera, but just over to the side of me, I had this little stringy little white orb that was flying. And of course I'm an orb whacker. So I just go away. So I don't know. I'm always doing that. It's like, I've had orbs in here. Like in 2021, a friend of mine passed away and he and I had this joke. He always, I don't know. And I didn't think it was funny. And I was like, I don't know why you're saying that. Friends, I don't know. But he died. And I was just about to do a YouTube show, I think with Jen's World at the time. And I went into the bathroom, or maybe it was after that. It was 3 days after that show. Okay, anyway. But I was going to do a YouTube show. And I went into my bathroom and there was an orb about this big. And it was white and stringy. I don't know. Stringy white orbs, I don't know. But it was floating and it was heading over the toilet towards the bathtub. And I was like, what is that? I'm thinking, that's a big piece of fuzz. It was perfectly round. I whacked it. And then I looked up over the sink and it was just hovering over my head. And I was like, Pete, what are you doing? And he was going on with that joke. He was headed. Anyway, it's between us. But it was funny. And I realized that he came to say goodbye and that was his way. No, it was him. So
they follow you into the bathroom. What can I say?
Find me.
How do you handle skepticism from yourself and from others?
Oh, I'm a big debunker. I always try to verify it when things are happening around me. I'm just kind of like, okay, was that what I thought it was? It was kind of like when I whacked the orb and then it showed up again. And I was like, well, there you go. you know,
Mhm.
and I'll try to recreate it, although sometimes you can't because I do, spirits have their own will pretty
Mhm.
much, and they don't have to, you know, but I've had enough experiences like I did in the apartment where
Mhm.
it was haunted in the 90s, and I would get mad at this spirit, and every once in a while I'd yell at it. I'd be like kneeling on the middle of the floor going, it's my apartment, you're not allowed to be here, this is my house, and then I'd go to work and come home, put the key in the door, and the key wouldn't turn. Oops, the key would not turn, and I'd have to wait. And I
Mhm.
did it a couple of times and the same result. So it's kind of like, all right, something's happening here. So I learned, and I do try to debunk. I am a skeptic of it because I think you have to have a little healthy skepticism.
Oh yeah.
I don't believe everything that, I don't like conspiracy theories. So I'm very much against that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. So I won't allow it on my channel. I'm sorry. I'm just not. Give me some ounce of truth and then I'll read on it.
Right.
There's
And
some things with all the dis and misinformation right now, I just won't entertain it unless you can give me direct me to a story somewhere. Let's see if there's anything to it. But sometimes it turns out to be something. So, you
yeah.
know, you have to
But
allow for that
but
too.
until you can get through to your consciousness, what good does it do? It just
Right.
my feeling about conspiracy theories is that was that written to raise my fears? If it was written to raise my fears, it's
Right.
not.
Exactly. It's like the curse. It's like if someone's trying to scare you, be careful with it. Uh,
Mhm.
you could say that about a lot of stuff going on today. But we're not going to go down that road.
We're not gonna this is not a
Not on this
political
show.
show.
Not on this show. Okay.
This is
But
for entertainment purposes only.
exactly. Yes.
And we're gonna entertain. We're not gonna
For
use that as
entertainment.
like, yes, she still got
Yep.
her card.
I do. I created this card for my old channel in
Have your
2021.
abilities gone through weak and strong phases?
Yes, as a matter of fact. And there are times, and sometimes it does have to do with what's going on in my life and what it is I'm focusing on and who is around. Maybe there's, I don't know who is around. That's weird. I don't know why I said that. That doesn't have anything to do. I guess who is in my life, or
Mhm.
um, work wise. I used to have things happen in the office, which irritated me to no end because it felt like, because with the clairaudience and the connecting to the living,
Mhm.
I had so many. Um, Sometimes it would upset me because it would get stronger in the office at times. And
Oh,
that's when you don't want everybody in your head because you're working and you don't need people looking for your weaknesses, which sometimes they did work against me. But, and then I wouldn't be as concerned about that. Was all pretty much before I really admitted to myself that I was a medium. And it
mhm.
pretty much took place during the pandemic or while I was working at home.
Mhm.
Um, it made it easier to do, but I feel like, I don't know, there are times where it's weaker, and also what I can handle, I think, because I
Mhm.
might be dealing with something. If there's something going on with my family or something like that, I'm gonna tune it out. So a lot of it, I think, for me, it's about tuning it out. It's when
Mhm.
I'm dealing with other things, I'm not going to do this right now. So, kind of like what's been going on for me since 2023, there's been a lot of things happening in my life that weren't going to be helpful. At least I was too focused on that to be able to do my YouTube and do the personal readings, and even reading on the political stuff was just hard for me. And I wasn't focusing as much on that because I was dealing with something else. But now I feel like I'm coming back to it. But it doesn't so much feel like I'm losing an ability. It's just kind of like where I'm allowing something to play itself out, or I'm allowing it to come in. So now I'm opening that back up again. I want to get back to my natural calling, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't work anymore, so now I want to do this for myself and for others. And so I'm hoping to get going again with that.
Oh, good.
Get
So,
stronger.
how do you protect your energy?
Well, one thing I did learn early on too was about the light and the orb, whatever. There's
Mm-hmm.
that. I did that for a long time. I don't necessarily feel, I mean, I kind of have my own energy shield up, I feel like, anyway, because I don't allow um, negative stuff to get in pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
I know when something does happen, I can take my own personal action or whatever. And of course, we have got the sage, we've got the intention, and we have, of course, I still, even though I'm not a practicing Catholic anymore, I still do have, there's a crucifix just about everywhere in this house. So I do still believe in God, and I still know, but also part of it is defanging the negative,
Mm-hmm.
is that I don't, like I said, the woman, and it had me questioning for years when she told me I had a curse and all this stuff and why all this
Mm-hmm.
stuff was happening. And it was a man and a woman. And I always heard a male and a female people, and it would change. I don't know necessarily that it was, I still can't tell who that was, but it always had me questioning until I finally woke up one day and said, "This is ridiculous. I do not have a curse. Something else is happening, but
Mm-hmm.
I really don't want that right now because I'm working. I don't really want this to mess up my career and my life." And I would just try to push it out. And then I think it was more around 2013 where stuff started happening again. And I started realizing something was going on, but I could never figure it out what it was. It wasn't until I got on YouTube and I was on, I think it was Lavender Moon's channel. I don't know that she's still going anymore, but and she was interviewing me, and we were talking about my ghost experiences and all the stuff that was happening with that. And she just said to me, she said, "You're a medium." She said, "You're a natural medium." And I was like, "No, I'm not." "Me?" And she said, "Yes, you are." And then it kind of hit me, and I thought, well, that didn't hurt for her to say that to me. And it just actually does feel like maybe that's what's going on. And I kind of rolled that one over for a while, and it was just sort of like, okay, well, maybe, I think it was like May 2021 where that happened. And it was like all of a sudden everything just fit. And then I
Right.
understood what was happening. And then I thought, okay. So I came at it from a different direction after that. And it just it was better. And I think the energy kind of calmed down. I did have some weird things happening that I had to get to the bottom of. And I was working with another medium all the way from Ireland. And she was great. Um, she helped me to understand some of the things, and I had this weird spirit kind of thing where I felt like somebody was trying to hit me in the head. I think I told you that story. It was a
Mm-hmm.
energy, and I could tell balding, but he came in as tall. And
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't until I looked up an old friend who I had a falling out with in 2006 or 2000, and on Ancestry, and found out that he had died. And I
Oh.
was like, "Oh, it's you." But he was not tall, he was short. So he's showing up to me as taller. But I think he was just trying to get my attention. Um, I didn't know he had died. And he was like, "Sheilah,"
Mm-hmm.
you know?
And then,
Yeah. And so even realizing that, and it has stopped since then. And I did find where he was buried, and it was up by where we went to college. And I visited him, and I just said, all is forgiven. You know, I'm so sorry. I still don't know what happened to him. There was no real obituary, so I've got a theory. But
mm-hmm.
I have a theory. But Yeah, God rest his soul. But it's just that was hard to see. But I'm kind of glad he knew to let me know. But I had to
Hmm.
put it together. And now I don't have that anymore. It's
Okay.
gone. It went on for several years. I couldn't figure out. It was started around 2012, 2011. He died in 2008, and I
Ew.
didn't. It took a couple of years before I started getting that, so it was weird. So he was letting me know because I didn't know. We were out of touch. But
We're going to switch gears a little bit. Do you think psychic abilities are innate or can anyone develop them?
well, I don't know. For me, it was innate.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. I mean, I think you can. I did not seek this. It all
Hmm.
came to me since I was little. Um, I mean, I'm sure you can, but I've heard that you can, but I don't know. After what I've been through with this, I don't know why anybody would do it. So on purpose. So it's just
Well, what if right now what's happening is a lot of people are waking up and they're beginning to realize they do have gifts.
yeah.
So they're going into the stuff you went into as a child, but with an
Mhm.
adult
Right.
world around them. So what would you say to someone who might notice they are gifted?
Yes. Well, I want to say don't be afraid. Don't
Mhm.
let the fear, because the fear makes everything more amplified, and it sure did for me. Let me tell you, um, that's energy, and you want to try to be positive, and it doesn't have to be bad. Like now, I'm not afraid of it. Um, I still whack things. I see them. Like there was the gray thing. I got out of the shower one day and there was a weird, and somebody else was there, but they came across gray and I whacked it. But it's just, for me, I'm a little more like, I've been through the fear. So now I'm like, okay, yeah, bring it,
Mhm.
a little differently. And everybody's going to have a different way of handling it. Um, but I do, I mean, you don't have to do what I do. It's just, that's my response. But um I guess you have to do what you feel is comfortable, but if you allow the fear to happen, then more negative things are going to happen. So
Mhm.
you are in more control of it than you think.
Mhm.
And that's something I learned, and so I no longer am worried about it.
You learned that by looking those answers up yourself, or did you learn that by being with other mediums or being around them?
I think I did start doing it myself because it was kind of like only have a threshold of so much I can take. And then it's like, okay, I'm not taking this anymore. And we're
Mhm.
going to do it my way. And, I did learn some things. When I had whispers in here and I could hear her sound like a female voice and she would answer me. And it was kind of like the time that I was sitting in here at my desk and I think she was in the doorway. I could feel her. And I said, "Can you show yourself?" And she said, "Yes." And I said, "Well, don't do it. Don't do it."
Mhm.
So,
That was not a request.
yeah, I was just wondering, and I was just said, "Please don't." So, but it was someone was with me for a while. Still not positive who it was. They wouldn't give me their name and even told me. I said, but I would ask it questions. And so, or them, or whoever it was. And I asked them for their name. And their response was, "Why do you need a name?" And I said, "Well, I'd like to know what to call you."
Right.
Well, no,
Mhm.
they were just not going to give me a name. And so for me, it's sort of that back and forth. I want to be on a level ground. If you're not going to do that for me, then I mean, I had a nickname. I call her Whispers.
Mhm.
I didn't trust it because I didn't feel like I was getting, I mean, at least give me something,
Right.
something to call you. And so I didn't trust it enough. And so I do believe it's gone now. Because I
Mhm.
told her I wasn't going to listen to it anymore because I got fed up with it. I was like, "You're not going to tell me, then go." And
Mhm.
so it has gone. And I've even said to it a few times, like, if you'd like to come back and talk to me, it hasn't come back. So I think whatever that spirit, whatever, I don't know if it was spirit, it was guide, whatever it was, I feel like it served its purpose and is gone. So it got me to do or come to terms with this enough so that I could manage it. One thing it always used to say to me was something like, um, oh, something about could possibly, or it might be something possible to do something. And I was always like, possible to do what? So it was this unanswered question I constantly had. And so I wasn't getting the answer. So I figured, well, I'm going to figure it out myself. And I was beginning my channel at that time. And, it has since gone away. But now when I do like the medium readings, I'm getting that information coming in different ways. Like it's changing now. I don't necessarily have the outside of my head. I think that serves a different purpose if they come back or somebody else comes through. But I don't know. So it's changing.
Okay. And how has your work changed your worldview or beliefs on life and death?
Well, I did always believe in life after death. Again, like I had grown up as a Catholic and a practicing Catholic, but I had an interesting class in high school that was called Humanities. It was a public high school. And we basically learned about every religion, which I thought was extremely enlightening. And
I had the same class. It was fascinating.
And we would go around to different churches in the area. And this was up in Western Pennsylvania, and basilicas and just other places to get an idea. And what I basically learned was everyone pretty much believes in about the same thing. They might call God different names, but the same tenets about similar to the 10 Commandments and things like that, the morality. Everyone pretty much has the same message. So that was very good. So I don't really believe that there's any really right religion.
Right.
And
nobody's got God cornered in their booth, or not God if you're Buddhist.
Right. And God, or all that is, or
right. However, the center of whatever you want to see the center of the universe as, right?
Right. I do believe that there's a higher power than us. We didn't just create ourselves. And there's just amazing. I mean, I always think when it is my time to go, I'm going to not be afraid. I'm going to go, and the wonders that will be there will be amazing, I think, but it's not my time. But I think, I mean, I don't want to be afraid of it. And I have, like I've said, I've talked to my father, my grandparents, my friend's daughter, and then it was interesting because a guy I liked, his mother came through. I wasn't even trying to talk to her, but she came through. And that was interesting. And I had a red letter night where I was just like, it was like they were around me, like all these different, it was crazy. Well, not my dad. He was still alive at the time, I think. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's just interesting. It is a journey, and I expect it to change as I get more and more into it and to doing the work, that is. And I'm just going to let it be, as long as it's positive. And, I only do it for good. I don't sit here and tell people bad news and do things like that. I don't know about if someone's going to die. I don't read on health. I don't do things like that. I don't want to step into God's realm. I'm not, that's not okay. And that's, again, ethics. And I think people need to, I don't know. I just try to be careful and real.
Well, speaking of readings you've done, what's the most powerful reading you've ever done?
Oh boy.
Remember that was very memorable, and why?
There were a few. I mean, I haven't gotten into like major ones. I know I was in a sort of a workshop at one point with a couple other readers on YouTube, and I did we'd go into different rooms and I read for another reader. It was funny because I just started picking up things, and I'm being careful because I don't want to identify anybody, but again, ethics. So it was just kind of like I was picking up things about her father and just, I don't know where it was coming from. I was just getting all these different, you know, things like vehicles and
Mm-hmm.
personalities and all that kind of stuff. And she was like, "You nailed it. You absolutely got him." And I did. It surprised me. And then there's the other ones I've done on my channel. And, I'm just talking to people in chat. And um, I'm seeing a street in Ireland. I didn't know it was Ireland, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
seeing the street where this person was and the hat and them running across the street. And the person was just like, "That's this person. And how are you doing this?" And I said, I have no idea how I'm doing this. I'm just sitting here I'm trying to focus on you and let the energy come. And this is what I'm seeing. Or, I'll just see it always surprises me.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun when it happens and it's right. And
Mm-hmm.
I kind of giggle because I'm like, this is great. I'm happy. I'm like happy for the person who's asking. And I'm really happy for me because I did it right.
Right.
So, and I got to bring that for that person.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's always joyful, at least when that happens. And
What
everyone's, go ahead.
okay, what advice would you give someone who wants to explore their gifts?
Well, definitely do some research. Like I
Mm-hmm.
know I did. I tried to understand all the spiritual realm, everything about it. I read a lot of books. Um, I try to educate myself. It was very different, but your life experiences too, when you're opening up and things that are happening, um, you kind of need to bring the two things together. Like for me, for years, when I was trying to figure out the clairaudience thing, and I kept looking at, is it telepathy? What is happening? And that
Mm-hmm.
didn't fit. And it wasn't until I finally found this book.
Mm-hmm.
I found it and it's right there. And to me, that was the bingo moment for that one. And it kind of made me feel like, all right, maybe there is something going on. And I'm not the only person that this has ever happened to. But and it is good, does go with the debunking and the skepticism. And I was always like, well,
Speaking of debunking and skepticism, how can someone find a trustworthy psychic in the community?
mm, well, I mean, I guess you just have to. I mean, I used to call some people about my own personal things, and there were a couple readers that I would talk to, but they always seemed honest to me. But again,
Mm-hmm.
I was asking about things that really, truly, unless I acted personally, it was not going to come to an end.
Well,
So
what's ever going to happen to you
it
personally
was
and act on it?
yeah, it's on me. But I guess it's trust too. And then if you talk to someone and you get a feeling that this doesn't feel right, or I mean, they might be having a bad day too. The reader it could be something
Mm-hmm.
where keep that in mind. Um, and sometimes you just have to say, well, maybe they're just having this day, but it feels right. And I want to call them again, and then
Mm-hmm.
you could try a couple times to talk to that person. But if it doesn't feel right, you need to move on.
That's right.
Or also trust yourself. Give yourself
Mm-hmm.
a chance. And there's no reason why. I mean, anyone can do this. To me, this
Mm-hmm.
is a tool. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's a tool. It is a way for me to sort through the information I'm getting, and I do believe that we all have um, some type of ability. And whether you want to lean into what you already know that you have going on, and why not? It's happening to you. It's your life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, don't be afraid of it, but also you just try to be. You want to educate yourself, and you want to try not to go down a rabbit hole into things where it's might not be right or real, and you get yourself. I don't know. That's one thing I've been afraid of for
Well,
me.
that's one of those things where you can use your spidey sense. If your spidey
Yeah.
sense says no, then you can kind of go, okay, and just back off and not put
Right.
your full trust and faith. Or if you do put your full trust and faith in someone and it blows up, be ready to say, well, there's a lesson learned.
Yeah.
Like, because that happened to me. That's happened to me in my life. I've gotten close to people and then realized, no, this is the wrong place.
Yes, that's happened to me too.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
people can have a lot of power and feel really strong, and they can be very confident what they're talking about. But if I tell you what, the one that kind of gets to me now at this point is ethics. If they really push you to read about someone that that it's not them, so why am I spying? I call it cosmic spying, and I don't do it.
Right.
Old boyfriends and girlfriends are big topics you don't deal with.
Yeah.
Although I think that's a fun part of the world we're in now. It's
Mhm.
less of the will I find the person I love, instead of saying how am I going to learn how to live in a world of love.
Mhm.
That's the difference.
Well, see, yeah, and I found that, and I have called on love situations, but I find that it's just not it doesn't work. And you really have to the person asking the question really needs to take action in their own lives. Like, but
Mhm,
I guess I chose not to. So I'm okay with it. But it's
mhm.
kind of like, yeah, the love readings are rough for me to do. And I think because I have my own experience with it, that I just don't, those aren't my favorite ones. And, it's just certain things to read on. And I do feel, yes, ethics also. And
And if
everything.
someone seems to, well, no one should push you. And two things: no one should push you to pay money you can't begin to afford. And
Right.
on the other hand, you have to understand that the energy of exchange in our culture is money.
Mhm.
So if a reader asks for money, it doesn't mean they're not right. It
Mhm.
doesn't mean they're fraudulent. But if they're asking for $500
Oh, no.
for some, yeah, I know you kind of go. And
Mm-mm.
I first of all, I can't imagine they don't disappear in a puff of smoke in the first place. But that's just me.
Yeah.
Last question,
Okay.
the easiest one of the bunch. What's the biggest lesson you've learned in your psychic journey?
That there's nothing to be afraid of.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not kidding, because that drove the first half of my life with this stuff, is it scared me, and I just thought, "Something's wrong, I don't know why I'm experiencing all these things, I'm having all these troubles, I don't know why. Why are these people it feels like people are in my head and they shouldn't be," but I still don't know, I think I still project, I don't know how. I'm doing something that I can't seem to control, but it's just I don't know. I just I guess, for me, I'm just trying to lean into it a little bit more. It's
Mm-hmm.
not gonna go away, so I have to figure out how to deal with it. I'm grateful for you 2 being here and all the other readers, and, you know, there's people with a lot of different specialties, and I know you're very special with what you do with your, crystals and everything. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen anyone else do it, but I think it's just everyone has a gift. And even those out here watching us, in chat probably have theirs, as we've talked about. If you do, I mean, as long as you're here to do good with it and you want to find out about it, do your research. Don't be afraid. But if you're uncomfortable with anything happening to, you can also say, no, I don't want it. I do. One of the main things I think for me that's I've learned is that I do have more control over it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's like I told that whispers to take a hike. I'm not listening anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And she did. And, you know, I don't let the spirits scare me anymore. I mean, I've seen so many things just in my own town. I mean, there was one place I used to go, was it outside, and something would go, they always said it was haunted, but I would see this blur like pass. And the same, it happened a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
And they had said that, but there was something, but I had to see it for myself. I saw it outside, but I don't know. It's just you have to do your debunking. You have to do your research. You have to, I guess, ground yourself enough too, and
Mhm.
protect yourself. And yes, there are ways to protect yourself with energy and things like that. And yes, for me, I probably, as I get back into doing the work, I'm probably going to have to employ that again before I start reading. I always try to do some protection at least before I would go in.
Yeah, for those of you who missed the beginning of this, Sheilah has taken, she is retired now, and she's taking some time to decide how to redirect her energies and how to run her own channel. And when she comes back, I'll have her on so she can come tell us how we can find her, because right now I don't have a way to do that.
Oh, well, I think I put my link in here. I don't know if I can do it because it's a link.
Oh, this is your thing. I can show. This is her YouTube channel.
Yeah.
You can go over and join that.
Yeah. It's Medium Sheilah. Mm-hmm. So just look up Medium Sheilah.
Not petite Sheilah or large. It's medium.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to be Inquisitive Tarot, so that's why I leave that down there. So people remember that was me. But that's not my channel name anymore. But I do still have it on my thumbnails and things like that. I have been back, and I've been posting some things here and there, but haven't done a lot of the personal readings.
Well, I found her, so she's not too hard to find. Yeah. I'm still doing 12-month readings, and all I can tell you guys right now for 12-month readings for 2026, everybody's things are coming out so good. I mean, it's one of those things you kind of start the year and you can sort of see patterns. And
wow.
So I've had some people start out with real January and February is going to be rough because of family changes around them, but then they're going on to greater things. I had one person who ended up with the Fool and the Magician in December. So, they're going somewhere.
Yep, that's
it might be fun to kind of see what it is. So if you're interested in that, you can go to my website and find out all about getting that. And thank you to the people who added names for me to to begin to bring into the show and to approach about. And people say, who asked for me to do that? And I just draw it off the chat, and I don't keep your names, so they'll never know it was you. And I want to thank everybody, and I'm not sure what I have the rest of this week. I post every time, so if you belong to my channel, you'll get the posts and you'll see what's going on. Crystal, the Crystal Advent Calendar is still going on YouTube. It's still going on Substack, and I cannot thank you enough, Sheilah, for taking time out of your retirement to come visit.
There's lots of time for that.
Anyway, and thanks everyone who came and joined us today. Goodbye.
Bye.